what I can categorically say is this. As far as MCLM is concerned, the only one we won't work with is BN, because BN, as we see it now, is not in the least bit interested in giving the rakyat the reforms they need. Alright? So all other parties out there haven't been written off. And on that note then, we are open to work with any party that is pro-rakyat and pro-reform. And MCLM, we welcome you here this afternoon. Allow me first to make some introductions. On my right, an icon in the Dayak community, Datuk Sri Daniel Tajam, SNAP advisor. On my left, the Secretary General of the Sarawak National Party, Chief Stanley Jugol. Also want to acknowledge the presence of our friends from Sabah, Datuk Jeffrey Kitingan. Yesterday, the chairman of MCLM, Raja Petra Kamarudin, published MCLM's manifesto for the 13th general election. Essentially, what we have stated is our wish to pursue the end of the marginalization of all human beings that we see in this country. That is through the implementation of a rakyat reform agenda, which we hope we will see carried through by a 13th federal government that is reform orientated. Right? Now, MCLM is under no illusions that in order to achieve this, we need the fullest possible collaborations with all other parties who share this similar aspiration. That is to take federal power post the 13th general election in order to see these reforms through. Now, it is with this in mind that MCLM has been looking to forge alliances with like-minded parties throughout the country, both in Semenanjung and in Sabah and Sarawak. Now, with this in mind, MCLM has been engaged in discussions both with Sarawak National Party and the United Borneo Front with a view to try to achieve an alliance of sorts. We had hoped to be able to announce an alliance with both SNAP and UBF today. Yesterday we had extensive discussions. Both UBF and MCLM are not desirous of marriages of convenience. What we want to forge is a commitment based on common stand on fundamentals. Today, I am pleased that we are able to announce a working alliance between Sarawak National Party and MCLM. As for UBF and MCLM, I will be able to inform you that we have not as yet been able to come to a common position on all fundamentals, but I'm also pleased to say that we shall continue to talk with a view to achieving some sort of consensus. Those talks will continue. Now, on that note, perhaps allow me to first invite my good friend Stanley Jugol from SNAP to address you.
Thank you, Charis. Ladies and gentlemen and members of the media, first of all, I'm very pleased here to inform you of the re-emergence of Sarawak National Party, SNAP, in Sarawak. And then SNAP re-emergence into the political mainstream has been well received both in Sarawak at home and also here in Semenanjung. This is evident by the working alliance that has been forged by SNAP and MCLM today, as you can see today, as expressed by Encik Haris earlier on. So we are pleased that our friends in MCLM have given us their pledge to render every assistance they can avail to us in the anticipated state elections, which is actually impending. In this regard, we also wish to record our appreciation for the promise of help from our friends in Sabah. So we are interested in forging working relationships with all like-minded Malaysians who want to bring about change during the next Sarawak state and the general elections. So we look forward to working with MCLM, their Rakyat Reform Agenda team, especially in crafting of the social inclusion agenda. And what SNAP is most interested and supportive of is the MCLM agenda. They have, I can tell you on 4 points here, the agenda that we in SNAP are very interested to support. Hence, the creation of this working alliance. Number one, MCLM and SNAP are both committed to seeing the next federal government, whenever that will be after the 13th general election, to honor the 18 and 20 points Malaysia agreement. So later on you can ask us what are the 20 or 18 points. Okay, to restore freedom and liberties of the Rakyat, to repeal the draconian law and to introduce Race Relations Act. Number three, SNAP subscribe to restore state institutions back to the Rakyat. That is the judiciary, police, election commission, MACC, and the AG's Attorney General's office. Fourth and lastly, we subscribe to their social inclusion agenda to do what the NEP was intended to, but never achieved. To get all parties involved in crafting those social inclusion agenda. So these are the agendas of what I call MCLM, which SNAP subscribe to. So it's convenient for us to have a working relationship, working alliance with them to pursue all these ideals. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I invite Datuk Sri Daniel Tajian now to address you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming this afternoon. For me, I'm the advisor to SNAP. And you all know, probably have read in the newspapers, SNAP have been undergoing some traumatic experience in the last 8 years and had only been restored to life again sometime last year when the Court of Appeal overruled the decision of the Registrar of Society to deregister the party. I was in SNAP originally, and at one time we formed what we call Parti Bangsa Dayak Sarawak. That has been deregistered, and I'm glad that the President of SNAP have reinstated me, or reinstated my membership into SNAP. And for that, the election in Sarawak is imminent. And I want to call all Malaysian of Sarawak origin, registered voters in Sarawak, to come back to Sarawak to support SNAP in the next election, because SNAP is committed to, as the Secretary General is concerned, to vest the rights of Rakyat back to the Rakyat. And particularly, I would like to appeal all, as you all know, to appeal to all the Dayak communities that have found jobs in West Malaysia, and of which more than 40,000 of them resident in Johor alone. to support SNAP because initially SNAP was founded as a Dayak party, and later on we admitted and amend the constitution to make it multiracial. And so my call is not only to the Dayak community that they live in Malaysia, all people who have or subscribe to SNAP ideology or principles. And I don't have much else to say, but I think please convey my message to Malaysian of Sarawak origin to come back. Their future, the future of the state is in their hand. To exercise your vote may last you, may take you only a couple of minutes, but the significance of that vote is enormous. Thank you. If you have any question, we are glad to answer you.
Let me just say that this is a working alliance of a strategic nature. I emphasize the word strategic for this reason, and any strategist will tell you that you don't put up your strategy in neon lights for all and sundry to see. Our friends from Sarawak are very soon to face a state election of huge importance, huge ramification, not just for the rakyat of Sarawak, but for the rakyat of Malaysia as a whole. It is bearing in mind the need for justice and equity, long denied to the people of Sarawak and Sabah, to be restored at the soonest possible, so that we can begin to uplift the standard of lives of our brothers and sisters in Sarawak and Sabah. And in anticipation of an opportunity perhaps in the next year or two for like-minded parties, again SNAP, MCLM, rooted in a commitment to fundamentals, to try to take power in Putrajaya. We do not propose to disclose the strategies that we have worked out and the avenues that we have identified where we can mutually assist one another. Now, on that note, I now welcome questions from the floor. There was never any intention for MCLM to offer any candidates from Semenanjung. MCLM have received resumes from some people from Sarawak. Only if SNAP thinks they would want to look at those, we will oblige them by subjecting those resumes to our usual screening process. And if they clear that screening process, we will offer those resumes to SNAP for them to consider and deal with as they see fit. But I underscore this again. It has never been our intention to offer any candidates, be it in Sabah or Sarawak. Our offer of assistance to help is on the footing that they will decide, SNAP will decide how we can help them, when we can help them, and it is at their request that we assist. I would imagine that at some juncture, parties having a common objective in removing Barisan Nasional and Taib Mahmud and ending his legacy must sit together and work out the best strategy for the offering of the best candidates to pick against Barisan Nasional. So, whilst I will not pretend to be able to answer on behalf of my friends from Sarawak, I would imagine that would probably be in the pipeline.
I could not answer that because that is a rather hypothetical question. What if? But as far as SNAP is concerned, after our resurgence, we are very confident in in contesting all the 28 Dayak majority seats. So whether it's going to be three-cornered or or one-on-one. I couldn't say now because I cannot comment on something that has not happened. Okay, but SNAP is we are very prepared, we are very ready to contest in 28 Dayak majority seats. Our common goal is to unseat the current BN state government. So we will work towards that.
MCLM is prepared to work with any and all pro-rakyat, pro-reform parties. And so, assuming all of the Pakatan parties fit that criteria, just like we are working with SNAP, we will be happy to work with any of those other pro-rakyat, pro-reform parties. So there does not seem to be any inconsistency. But I can tell you that perhaps within the next 10 days, we may have another 4 candidates for you all to gloss over. I had 2 meetings with Vita Murthy in London last year. I am friends with many people in HRP and Hindra. So we continue to talk all the time on many issues. And I imagine that these talks will go on for quite some time yet. In fact, I said anyone who says they can offer defection-proof candidates is a liar. You can never guarantee someone's not going to defect. The best you can do is to do a screening exercise to remove the high-risk individuals. But I do not think anyone can guarantee that, I mean, look, people get married and they think that this love is going to last forever, and 5 years later they're in the divorce courts. So really, it's very hard to say that you know someone so well. All we can do is do the screening with a set of protocols, adhere to those protocols, and on the advice of the risk management agency, eliminate those who are tested to be of high risk. So no, we have no defection-proof candidates.
Alhamdulillah kami berjaya mencapai persetujuan atas dasar fundamentals yang dipersetujui kedua belah pihak, dan dengan itu kami yakin pada pilihan raya negeri yang akan datang MCLM mampu untuk memberi bantuan yang berkesan untuk membantu rakan kami di Sarawak. Dan pada PRU 13 pula kami mengharapkan dan kami yakin persefahaman dan persetujuan untuk bekerjasama akan mengukuhkan lagi usaha-usaha pihak-pihak yang ingin menampak ataupun mencapai perubahan. InsyaAllah akan berjaya.